I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear Lord, please watch over us tonight. Please help us, guide us, and make us make the best decisions that we can for the city of Boonville and for the greater good. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Let's all remember to speak up. Roll call.
Coward.
Here.
Harville.
Here.
Elbert.
Here.
Venable.
Here.
Davis.
Here.
Bechtel.
Here.
Young.
Here.
Meadows.
Here.
Yay.
Hey, everybody's present.
Full
house. Hearing of citizens' comments, we got any? Okay, there being none. Any changes or corrections to the minutes? They are accepted. Consent items. A, consider pay app number 1 in the amount of $105,425.70 to C.L. Richardson Construction for water and sewer improvements 2025. It's on page 6.
Item B.
We work these
And
together.
B.
Yeah,
We can do them together.
Item B, consider change order number 1 in the amount of $0.00 to C.L. Richardson Construction for water and sewer improvements 2025. That's on page 9.
Mayor, I move that we approve these consent items.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Thank you. Comments, questions?
Is this moving forward over on Ream Street? Excellent.
Yes.
Okay, roll call.
Coward.
Yes.
Harville.
Yes.
Elbert.
Yes.
Venable.
Yes.
Davis.
yes.
Bechtel.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Meadows.
Yes.
How far is that project? Can I ask?
How far along?
Yeah, over on Green.
What do they have left at Ream Street?
10%.
Just
Huh?
10%?
10% to go or 10% completed?
10% done.
Okay,
Oh, no.
Ooh.
Of Reams or the whole project?
Reams. Well, if it helps you, the project's 1.7 and so far we've paid 105,000, so it's a marker of progress.
So it's not 10% of Reams, it's 10% of the whole project, basically.
They probably have some other material in there, but I'm just
Okay.
saying,
Yeah, okay.
we're at the baby phase. And just a reminder, they have through 26. I think it's a year long,
Yeah, it should be September, October of 26.
so it's got a long ways to go.
So does the 4th Street project start after that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Wow.
Be patient.
Okay.
Actually, already started a little bit.
Did they?
Okay, item 6, presentation of accounts and claims.
Be it ordained by the Council of the City of Boonville as follows. Section 1, for the purpose of paying salaries of various accounts against the City of Boonville, which have been allowed by the council at the regular meeting thereof on November 17, 2025, the sum of $479,625.49. Gaming, General Fund, $199,717.73. Sanitation, $12,489.86. CIP tax, $20,171.94. Waterworks, $54,403.69. Capital projects, $0.00. Wastewater, $28,505.84. Tourism, $6,392.87. Gaming, $21,052.50. Parks and Water, $22,112.81. Kemper sales tax, $114,778.25. Economic Development Projects, $0.00. Section 2, the accountant is hereby authorized and instructed to draw checks on the respective city bank accounts in favor of the persons whose salaries and accounts have been allowed as above, amounting to $479,625.49, being the total amount of money above appropriated. Section 3, this ordinance shall take effect and be enforced from and after its passage. First reading, November 17, 2025. Read for the second time this November 17, 2025, since a copy was made available prior to the meeting.
Second reading, title only.
Ordinance appropriating money.
Mayor, I move that we approve this ordinance appropriating money.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Roll call.
Coward.
Yes.
Harville.
Yes.
Elbert.
Yes.
Venable.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Bechtel.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Meadows.
Yes.
Okay.
I see no unfinished business. New business. Item A, consider resolution 2025-16, authorizing and approving an agreement with Vantage Point Solutions.
A resolution of the City of Boonville, Missouri, authorizing and approving an agreement between Vantage Point Solutions and the City of Boonville pertaining to cultural resource survey at FT Kemper Park in compliance with CDBG requirements and providing an effective date therefore. Whereas the City of Boonville has solicited and received proposals for this project and determined that Vantage Point Solutions represents the best proposal pursuant to the purchasing code set forth in Section 2-20 of the City of Boonville Code of Ordinances. Whereas the Cultural Resource Survey is a requirement for CDBG funding, which was awarded to the City of Boonville for academic hall renovations at FT Kemper Park. Therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Boonville, Missouri as follows. Section 1, that a certain agreement between A certain agreement between
Sorry.
Vantage Point Solutions in the City of Boonville, Missouri relating to the Cultural Resource Survey, a copy of which is marked Exhibit A, is attached hereto and made a part hereof is hereby approved. Section 2, the city administrator and the city clerk are hereby authorized to execute and attest said agreement on behalf of the City of Boonville. Section 3, this resolution shall take effect and be in full force from and after its passage and approval, passed the 17th day of November 2025 by the City Council of Boonville, Missouri.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion we approve.
I will second.
In a second, will we need to do the correction on section 1 there?
No, we'll just change it.
I'll change it, yep.
Okay,
I'm making myself a note right here.
thank you.
Yeah.
Questions or comments?
I think you just answered one of them.
I was just gonna ask to explain this, maybe in simple terms, what the cultural overview is.
So, when you have a community development block grant, there is an environmental review that you have to do. And part of that is reaching out to all Native American tribes who have ancestral lands in Missouri. And the Osage tribe requested we do a cultural resource survey, which we have to do to be compliant. This will be covered by the grant, so they'll give us additional money to cover it. It's sort of like they'll do a grid and they'll ask us questions about traditional use and who's owned it and what they've done there, and then they may do a few other like sort of mapping, and then it produces a report. So it goes ultimately into every community development block grant project, but also other federally funded projects have to have an environmental impact statement. Sometimes it has no adverse findings, sometimes it has adverse findings, sometimes it has something in between. So this is part of that project.
So could the findings of this delay or stop the project?
I don't think they're gonna find anything, but I mean, if something significant were found unsuspectingly, yes, it would take a moment. And also, just so you know, this is the whole area. You have to define the disturbed ground, which is not just the building, but also the ground, the green space behind where like adding parking and rerouting roads and stuff like that. So it's that whole area. But I don't anticipate, we've never found anything thus far, so I don't think we will.
Have we had these done before on that area around?
We have not had to do a cultural resource survey because we've never had CDBG funding for this. So the previous projects we did not, and then when we did Science Hall all those years back with EDA, Economic Development Administration, they only looked at the building itself. So it went through a different
So even with the
environmental.
demolition of the administrative building, it was not an
That was
issue.
funded by the city. So if it's funded by the city, you don't have to do anything.
So the cultural significance is determined by the funding of the project?
The requirement to look for cultural significance
Okay, fair
is
enough. I'm just
dependent on the
making sure that I
funding.
understand this completely and I think I do. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any
But
other-
to be clear, if you were doing a project regardless and you saw something significant, you would have to halt.
And it's 4,000 is the maximum number that this spent? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? Roll call.
Coward,
Yes.
Harville,
Yes.
Albert,
Yes.
Venable,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Bechtel,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Meadows.
Yes.
Item 9, reports of standing committees. P and Z, Cy Harville.
Yeah, we didn't have a quorum when we met last Tuesday, the 11th. We did have a representative from Midmo, Mo RPC there. So there was a lot of just general discussion with some committee members and that were present and city council people that showed up and just a lot of discussion about the growth and where the city's going, but no official business. It's all in your package.
Okay. Item B, Board of Public Works. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, there's a couple items on there. Pretty low-key meeting, but any questions, let me know.
No questions? Reports of city officials. Mayor? I have no comments. City Administrator?
I do want to direct your attention, ask them to an email, the Placer AI report on Rolling Hills, and it starts on page 26 of your packet. There's a lot of stuff in here. I think maybe the most important stuff to the conversation is, first of all, in case you're wondering, 90,000 people visit in a year, so wonder the use of our parks, and that's probably primarily local. So I think it is a testament to the value of Rolling Hills and how much people do enjoy it. I think there was some discussion about use and the time. If you look on page 29 to 64, kind of the peak time is somewhere from 4:30 to 6:30. So if there was something you wanted to do in terms of a limited closure, that might be it, but there's probably that many cars going through there too. So as a reminder, Placer AI is counting cell phones, not people. Well, it's counting people, but it could be a car and there could be a person with one cell phone and 3 kids, or maybe it's 5 teens and they all have a cell phone. So that number, I just want to clarify where that number comes from. It's tracking cell phone data. I just wanted to, you guys don't have to do any action now. I just wanted to provide this information, but if you wanted to do anything on a test basis, that's up to you guys, and certainly on the table. Like I said, we did it several years ago where we closed it for a while also, so.
Excellent.
Questions, comments? Anything else?
Also just a comment that we did send you guys an email from Taylor regarding code enforcement specific to Mr. Oliver's comments at the last council meeting. If you guys want us to do more with flowers, native plants, how much you're allowed to have, that would have to come from you guys. We would have to do some research and see what we can describe as a third-class city. I know Taylor provided some additional details, like some places say you can only have 20% of your lawn be a bed, whatever it is, or if you just want to try to look at changing the definition of vegetation. Any of those options are also on the table, but that would have to come from you guys to provide more clarity for us to comfortably address some of our zealous flower growers.
Can I ask a quick question? Is, one, I love zealous flower growers as a definition of what happened, but how often do we run into this? Like, is this something, how many times a year?
Tell you there's
do
a
we-
few more in town.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say, just drive around.
Yeah. I kind of wonder how many complaints we get. Is it worth objectively changing things, or is it something that is small enough that it's
There's not a lot, but there are several other examples around town. And like we said, we've kind of let some of it ride when they're excited flower growers, because we're not sure where
Where
it
do you draw the
stands. Yeah,
line?
where we draw the
Of course,
line.
yeah.
And
I
now
think
it's
there
all
are some
dead.
more things on the Mr. Oliver situation that we can maybe address now, but that's on a different thing. And then just also an additional comment, anything in the backyard, we really, unless there's no fence and an alley, we have very little ability to go back there. So we can't go in someone's property. So enforcement on private property in the backyard, especially if it's fenced, is very difficult.
Wouldn't, like, I looked at that, none of that was inside the right-of-way utility easement or nothing.
Right.
So there's very little that we could even try to do. So, I mean, she's completely legal for what I saw. I'm sorry, but that's kind of work it out with your neighbor. I mean, I go mow my neighbor's yard every once in a while, and it's kind of lets it go, but that's between us, so.
Yeah, we're fine. We're fine to leave it as it is, but I just wanted to kind of lay it back on you guys that if there was something additional, I think we would need something more from you.
I'd say ultimately, it's what Kate touched on was whether or not we needed to more clearly define something within the ordinance. The question is how much energy you will want to expend on us going back and rewriting the ordinance to more clearly define some limit on vegetation, and then at what point are we kind of crossing over and how much we're infringing on someone's private property rights. But I defer to the council, so.
Again, no action
Yeah,
needed, just
nothing needed until we
put
get
in
to it.
your minds when you can't sleep or something.
It seems modestly quiet. City clerk.
Just that, like I stated last meeting, election's coming up. The election date's April 7th, and the filing period is December 9th to the 30th. And it's on this side of the table, and the mayor. And that's it.
Okay, thanks for the reminder. Hill Ridge discussion. City
Yeah,
councilor.
I'll be brief.
Oh, come on.
No, I'll be brief and then kind of open the door for any questions. If you saw in your packet, we've been talking about this for a while, communicating back and forth with Josh Black. Black Flock LLC's been running the golf course for a while. Our original commercial lease and operating agreement has expired now for a while. Since that time, we've gotten water out there. We've done some other things. We've acknowledged that it's time we get something else executed moving into the future, and we suggested a longer term lease with an option to renew that lease so we could lock something in. What you have in your packet was what we had proposed to Mr. Black. The majority of the terms are consistent with the original operating agreement in regards to his use of the premises, how he would run his operation as a private enterprise, indemnity, holding the city harmless, whatnot. The key points were the suggested terms. We had sent this to Mr. Black as a point to say, here's where we think we ought to be. These were not concrete terms, but this was a suggestion. Mr. Black had replied by email. I'm going to tomorrow try to schedule a meeting with him as soon as possible. He could have been here tonight. We told him to go to his son's sports game because all we were going to do was discuss it. Nothing was on in front of the council for vote. The two major issues that we had talked about when I visited with Kate and proposed something to Mr. Black was just setting some kind of fixed term rent. We didn't want to muddy the waters with adjusting for inflation or prorating certain things for certain periods. Just let's lock this in. Hopefully things can continue to run smoothly. And then I proposed a 5-year term with an option no less than 3 months before the expiration of the first term. Give the opportunity to renew for up to an additional 5 years. And then any new terms before that renewal could be discussed at that time. We also offered to Mr. Black a discounted rate for the water usage out there. And then I need to kind of tweak some of these terms after an email from Mr. Ditto in regards to where the water was coming from. But I'm going to open to the council any questions you all have as far as concerns you have with what's in front of you, questions about moving forward. Because again, it's my intent to sit down with Mr. Black, get his perspective, and then come back to Kate and the council with something that all parties can agree on.
There was just one question I had on it, on the discounted, I noted the discounted water rate for the first 10,000 gallons, I think, correct?
Yeah, so what that's what I was working on when I got here. What we've talked about now, kind of reviewing, and Mr. Black, if he's listening whenever this goes public, isn't even aware of this, but we're gonna try to rephrase that paragraph 13 and focus on the lake pump house meter, where he can use as much water as that can, that's right, Jeff, isn't it? Where he can get that discounted rate from that lake pump house meter and not necessarily have to cap it, because that's something the city can provide to him on a regular basis without having to watch usage. And then anything within the clubhouse or some of the other areas be more of a consistent rate.
Okay. And is that something we've done in the past for him?
So,
The pump house, so, when we first purchased the golf course, it was still in the Cooper County Public Water Supply District, so he actually was not charged any water, and the water at that time was not safe for the golf course. I don't know what the right word is, safe.
we didn't have
Well,
water in the
it was
first
salty.
Yeah, it was salty.
Oh, okay.
So
So-
he didn't have any water for irrigation. And that was part of the reason for the delay in getting this. It took us a significantly longer time to extend this water line than we had originally planned. So, now he has city water out to the golf course. And so when we got it, we offered him the discounted rate of $3 per 1,000 gallons, which that lake, if he fills it, is 500.
It can be sometimes 100,000, sometimes 500,000, just
So,
depending how long you.
It's a lot of water. So, which there's capacity for, so not to confuse that, there's capacity for that, but we're giving him the discounted rate for that, but then everywhere else, like the clubhouse, the bathrooms, that would just be your regular
Residential rate?
residential
Yeah.
commercial rate for a building. So yeah, it's just the reduced rate on the
So
irrigation.
if you use this lake, we give you $3
per thousand.
per
Mhm.
thousand. And if you use regular water, everyplace else, we're gonna charge you
the regular rate.
The regular rate.
rate.
Hmm.
What is the regular rate? Do we have any idea?
Yeah, Jeff, what is it?
I don't know.
I can tell
It's
you
like-
actually.
it's like 1,000, I'd have to guess it.
Yeah, I mean,
1,000, then 9,000, then 50,000, it raises.
yeah, I know
on
it's
those levels.
it's tough to do a comparison, I'm sure, but I guess the only thing, I'm totally for that, like, if he's filling the pond, let him fill the pond, but just make sure we're not losing any money off the $3 a
That's,
pound.
when we did it, we figured out the cost of water and then we put a little extra in there. I don't remember what our original extra was.
Like
What's the
205
cost of water now?
Yeah. 205, is that right?
Yes.
As of
Look at my water bill.
January of last year.
So it's
January of 2025, it was $2.05.
They're making
per
less than $1.
thousand. So, and then you'll note too that it goes up with the same rate of increase. So if we have a 6% increase, that $3 has a
Yeah,
6%
that's fair
increase.
enough. I have no issues
So,
with this.
would we be doing that with everybody who's filling their swimming pools and everything, charging a discount rate?
No.
How much?
Yeah, that's, what kind of rent does he pay now?
There's
Zero.
nothing, that's
That's what I thought.
So
Yeah,
here's
he has
the
nothing.
underlying issue, and back to Tanner's question was, originally, the city was gonna supply water out there. The original operating agreement has expired, and then there was a delay in doing anything else because it took a while to actually get the water that we had intended to get out there. Now that the water is there, it's time we circle back and actually execute something in writing. There is a benefit to having a golf course operating in Boonville. The city owns the real estate. I've said this before, I defer to the council, but I don't know how interested the city is in operating a golf course. So if we have someone that is willing and able to operate a golf course, there needs to be some kind of incentives for him to be there. Hindsight is 2020, he's been able to be out there recently without having a fixed rent and fixed water supply rates. So moving forward, how do we articulate that on paper? So we want you to stay, we want people to continue to use Hale Ridge, we want you to continue to run it for us. Here's what we
Well,
can offer.
it's important to keep in mind too with this agreement, I mean, the water's a big piece of it, but the city is not responsible for chemicals, we're not responsible for equipment, we're not responsible for employees, we're not responsible for golf carts.
Yeah, the big thing is
Sure.
insurance.
So there's a lot of things which we don't have to worry about, we don't have to deal with. So we need to make sure it's a win-win situation, but also understand both sides of this where.
To Andrew's point there, do we know his comfort level with, since not having rent, obviously he's paying 18,000 annually
So,
now. Is
yeah,
comfortable
so
with
he
that economically?
in a short email, he's has concerns with those dollar numbers.
Yeah.
And had proposed talking about a tiered system or something so that we can gradually get into it.
Yeah.
I said, we weren't at liberty to negotiate at that point. I said, tonight, this is gonna be a conversation with the council. I'd like to get his feedback on what suggestions he has, if any, that are contrary to what we proposed, so that I can circle back and bring it before the council, with the goal being having something executed by the first of the year. That's been our goal.
I think we have to be realistic about terms. We want him to be economically viable, right? We want him to be successful. I think having a golf course has a lot of social and economic tax benefits probably. So I would love to see that. Like if that's not conducive to him running his business successfully or cuts too deeply into his operating costs, then I'd be open to discussion.
And the point there is that what we want his input first.
Yeah.
Because he's the guy that knows the numbers and he knows what he's
Yeah,
got,
for sure.
got to get done. If we go first, there's no way for us to know it's gonna be justified.
But you're gonna have that discussion.
I'm glad you pointed that
So,
out. That's
yes.
why I said it out loud.
I met with Kate this afternoon. I'm gonna email him first thing in the morning and say, hey, let's get together, you and I talk. I can circle back to Kate, come back to the council. Here is counteroffers, if you will. But at the end of the day, the goal is to create some kind of viable agreement that's mutually beneficial to both parties.
I agree.
That's the goal.
And I think too, like, we've invested heavily though too, like, you know, to Terrence's point, like, we're gonna probably finish the parking lot this year, is that probably one of the ideas?
Hoping.
You've talked clubhouse before, so I mean, it's gonna be added up at some point, so I mean, I think it needs to be beneficial to both, but I mean, I agree with Tanner, so.
Yep.
I think the biggest thing here is he has insurance, and without an agreement, we don't even know if he keeps insurance. So, I mean, obviously, if somebody sues him, you know, but there's three things, and I've been doing a lot of research on this. Three things we have to make sure of. One is insurance, that he's covering insurance, period, so we're not liable. Second thing really is sales. I mean, do we have any idea what kind of, like, how much did he make last
So when we first started this, and now this goes back when I first started as city councilor, we went back and we had asked for his different quarterly returns.
Right.
And unfortunately, those numbers were hard for us to actually quantify into good numbers, because if you'll remember, there was a bad spread of something that affected the greens, and then there was the fire, and then you look at the seasonal. So it was really hard for us to come up with some average number that we could rely on to then approach the council. So that's when we started, let's just work on something flat, generate some kind of income coming back in to move forward, but also something that is viable for him.
I mean, 18,000 a year, you know, you're looking at, that's 10% of 180,000. Do you think he's making 180? I'd say at least 180.
Operating cost of operation though would be unimaginably high. We'd have to look at his profitability margin, right?
There's certain things we don't need to discuss tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
There's no point in opening up that can of worms. We just need to have more information before we go
Well,
forward.
back to what the mayor said, I mean, I think I need to get some actual stuff that I can present to you.
Back to what I'm talking about here. I'm sorry to get off on a tangent, but there's three things it says we need to be aware of. One, if we're setting a rate, it needs to be 12 to 20% of gross sales. Okay? That is straight up out of 101 here.
What do you mean?
What are you looking at? What is
Yeah,
it?
I can share it with you.
Sales.
Yeah, normal base rent for a private property rented to a consumer, it's 12 to 20%.
Like retail, like a
Yeah,
retail shop.
gross sales, okay. I can forward it to you, I don't care. My thing is if I'm just putting a line in the sand, 18,000 to me sounds like a good deal, and we go forward with that. You know, if he really balks at that number, then we can say, hey, we'll talk about it. But I think the biggest thing here is that insurance is covered, and that we have a number, a rent. The complaints that I got was that he's operating with no rent.
Just to put your mind at ease, we do know he has insurance because he has a business license. So you have to produce liability and work comp. So just to make you feel a little bit better in the short term, we do know those things.
I know, but.
Well, and but more to your point, you're absolutely right. And I mean, if you look, that's why it's one of the important parts of this proposed agreement. There's multiple different things where he's holding the city harmless. He's actually required under this to maintain his insurance at all times. If not, that's a breach of the agreement.
Yeah, there's a lot in this agreement that I really like, you know. I mean, there's quite a bit in it that you put in there, and I mean, the fact that you've addressed, insurance.
Yep.
It cannot come back to the city, he's gonna hold the workman's compensation, I mean, all of that. So, yeah, I really like the agreement as it stands, and it's a great place to start from, so.
We just need more information.
And so the plan just moving forward, so is we are gonna put a first reading on at the next meeting, but we will do the same thing. We'll put a discussion item under Brad or myself. My preference will be that we could come to a decision on rent in the discussion so that we can save ourselves from the amending a motion and then voting to amend the motion and the Robert Rules of Order circle. So it's just a little bit cleaner. But if we're not there and then we end up amending the motion, it's fine either way. But like Brad said, it's been our goal that starting January of 26, we have something on paper effective. So that's just for us the driving push right now, and it's just taking a little bit to get all the pieces together.
Sure.
Any other questions?
Do you have anything else, Brad?
No, this is what we were working on this last week, so.
Okay, thank you. Any miscellaneous out there floating around? None? Public Works,
It's just in the packet.
it's in the packet. Any questions or thoughts on that? None? Is there a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second?
We were all so surprised, right?